Okay, so everybody can see my screen and you can see my inventory is 0. We have absolutely no animals in this account. And so we want to go ahead and get our cows and bulls imported pretty quickly. So what I want to do is I want to come down and open my Excel. And let me see, I got multiple screens and it kind of jumps around a little bit, but so I've got a blank Excel screen here. And so I want to start off with ear tag. Maybe we want to add our private herd number. And so man, if I could type private herd number, maybe their name, if you've got their birth date is great. Their breed. Let's see what else I've got. I've got birth weight. And I'm also going to tell you this does not have to be in any kind of order. As long as you've got everything that we need in here, it doesn't matter what order these columns are in. The software will sort it out. So then maybe we want the color. Maybe we want the dam's ear tag so that we can match them up. The sire's ear tag. And although I'm doing my columns as it is, we will still have to match this up when we get into CattleMax. So let's see, we must have status. As you know, that's part of the, has to be active, sold, dead, or reference. Animal type, we have to use that. And that's where it's bull, cow, or calf. And of course, we need sex. Let's say we want to do the pasture. We go ahead and get them in pastures while we're creating our spreadsheet. And then you could add other information as well, weaning weights, yearling weights, different things like that on your initial input. If you purchase the animals, put them in for the first time, this is where you need to add in that purchased information, purchase from, what you paid for them, and the date. Same thing as if you're adding reference animals, do the same thing. So let's kind of just go along here. I'm going to show you, we're going to put in a couple of animals. 201, or private herd number is the same. Maybe add in her name, her birth date, 0301 2020. Breed, we can say she's Hereford. Birth weight was 65 pounds. Her color, she's going to be red and white. Dam's ear tag, K201, or sire's ear tag. Tony, I don't know a good Hereford sire right offhand. Status, so we must have active. She's a cow, and she's still a heifer. We need to have sex on each of the animals, or it leaves it blank. Even though we put a cow, we know it's got to be a heifer. A bull, if we'd made it a bull, sex has got to be bull. And then we'll say she's in the back 100 pasture. So this is pretty much how we would add it in. If we wanted to add a bull, we could do the same thing really quick. We'll just call him Red. His birthday 05/10/2017. And we'll just make him a Hereford as well. All right. And then, of course, continue on with, let's see here. I'm just making this up as I go. 6/9, active, bull, and we'll say he's in the bull pasture. Now I have a spreadsheet with lots of data that I'm actually going to import, but I'm just showing you what has to be in here. These three must be here, some form of ID, whether it's ear tag, private herd number, you could add electronic ID, doesn't matter. Now, the one thing on here that has to be, or doesn't have to be, but it makes it so much easier on the software, you don't have any problems, is if you change your date format. It's really easy to do. Highlight the whole column, right click, format cells, and you choose date this one where you have year, month, day, and use the 4-digit for the year. That's the best format. You don't have any mistakes, especially for our customers that are overseas that use a different format than we do. If you put it in this format, it will actually convert into the correct format you use in your country. So once we have all of our information added to the spreadsheet, whether you copied it and pasted it from somewhere, you could use CattleMax. If you don't know about that app, you could use that and collect all this data. We now have created it or updated it so that it can handle 25 custom fields, and you can get all these in, capture them as you work your cattle. It puts it in a nice CSV format that you can then import into CattleMax. So now when we get ready to save this, we need to save as, and then whatever you want to name it, cows to import. It must be in CSV format. Now this is comma separated values. Don't use any of the others. There are several different forms, but it must be comma separated values. And you just save that wherever you want to save it. We can then close it. So to get to the spreadsheet import, we'll come to cattle, import data, and we're going to import from a spreadsheet and then choose what you're importing. So we're importing animals. And so we want to browse for our file, and actually there's our file that I created, but I actually have one down here that has a lot more data to it. So we're going to upload this file. And so this is where you have to match your spreadsheet to the columns that work with CattleMax. So the first thing we must have is what our ID value is in our spreadsheet. And we're going to use ear tag, and it must match ear tag and CattleMax. Now I chose ear tag today, but you could also choose private herd number, tattoo, EID, whatever you have on your spreadsheet, and then match it into CattleMax. And you can see the very first line, it's already matched. So there's nothing you have to do there. So as we look down through here, CattleMax is smart enough, it's picked out a lot of them. But when it comes to breed, it actually should be breed name. And so you can either type that in, or if I back that off, then you can scroll through here. And as you see, you can add the percentages if you like. But there's breed name. It matched up my dam and sire. There's my status, animal type and sex. Pasture is kind of like breed name. So you have to have pasture name. So once you've matched all of your columns, and sometimes we mix and match, maybe we've got some things that are more of measurements and not so much going in with this one. You can actually come in here and mark off some and tell the software to skip that column. Today, we're not going to do that. We actually want to add pasture name. Then we want to continue to validation. And it just doesn't go straight into your account. It gives CattleMax a chance to validate, to make sure everything is correct. It'll tell you no errors. If it finds an error, maybe you bumped a quotation or you got a date that's out of format, it will tell you and actually show you down here in a box. There's two different kinds. There's a yellow one that cautions you that mostly that's in measurements or when you're adding breedings or preg checks. Didn't find the animal is the main one it does. Maybe you typed it in wrong, or that animal's not in your account. If it's yellow, you can choose to fix your spreadsheet, or you can say, well, I'm going to skip those animals and go ahead and import the rest. If you get a red box, you must fix those errors. Okay, so let's import our spreadsheet right quick. And it doesn't take very long. We're adding 74 animals. It just depends on the load on the server, and there it goes. So we can go to our cattle. I actually want to go to the dashboard. So you can see right quick, we put in 8 bulls and we put in 66 cows. So we'll just pick the first cow. There's her page, private herd number, ear tag, got her name, her breed, the pasture that we put in there, even her color markings, her age based on the birth date we put in. And then, of course, I also imported her weaning and yearling information, which you can now see under her performance timeline. Okay. Any questions on importing animals? I know this is really quick, and there's a whole lot of different ways you can do that. And even the timeline fills in. So we're good.
We're good. No questions right now.
Okay. So I want to show you, a lot of us are starting to go use electronic identification. As you see, I don't have electronic identification on my animal. So let's see about a spreadsheet for electronic identification. So I want to create another one. And all I have to have is what I'm going to match with, ear tag, and then I need electronic ID. And I'm going to tell you, if you're collecting this kind of information, if you have a scale indicator that can get you a CSV file format based where it matches the ear tag that you type into the electronic ID, or use the CattleMax app where you can scan your EID and then add a visual number. If that's all you collect on it and make a simple file, it only has to have these 2 columns right here. So it makes it really easy. We can just add our 2K cow, and then I'll make that a little bit bigger. We'll say 982. Hopefully I don't shortchange us any. That's 9 numbers. 1, 1, 2, 3. And so on and so on. Uh-oh. So now what happened to my EID number? And this is what Excel does to a lot of them. And so if you get them collected and they're correct and they're already in a CSV file format, do not open it. If you open it, it's going to change your number to scientific notation. Don't panic, because there's a way to fix that. You can highlight these cells, format. You want it to be a number with no decimal places. And it fixes your number back the way it should be. And you would, so if you add them all in there and they change as you go, you can wait to the end and fix that, or you can format that column before you ever start, and then it doesn't happen again. So let's see, we'll add another one in right quick. See, because I formatted my column, it stayed in the correct format. So there again, you would save as EIDs to import, and it must be in that same comma separated value, CSV format. Save it. We can close it. Go back to cattle. Import from a spreadsheet, and this time we're going to choose electronic IDs. And then we can find our file. Now, as you noticed, last time when we imported animals, we didn't get the option to add in the animal statuses. And I worked with a couple this morning on that. They imported some weights, and some of the weights didn't go in on some of their sold animals. This is very important. If all of your animals are active, you don't have to do anything. But if you're importing and some of them have already been sold, but you want the record on it, you can choose whether they're already all have been sold, or whether they are active, sold, or dead, or even the ones including reference animals. So where this comes in really handy is when you're importing carcass data. If you've already sold the animals in your account and then you get the carcass data, well, then of course you'd want to come back and add it on your sold and dead animals. And then that way That's all CattleMax looks at. It does not look for active animals only. This one is only going to have active animals. And then you can also choose whether they're cows, bulls, or calves, or you can choose one of the others. So let's upload our file. So you can see there's only 2 columns. We still have to say ear tag is what's in CattleMax because that's what's there. EID doesn't recognize that, but it recognizes electronic ID. It's the only option you have. So we can continue to validation. And there it is. Import that spreadsheet. Now let's go back and make sure I think 2K is the cow we looked at. Now she has her EID added to her, and you can use that in the future instead of when you're weighing your animal scanner, you don't have to type in the 2K. When you import their measurements, you can use EID as your form of identification. Okay, we still good? Okay, good deal. Hope everybody's catching on really well. The next thing I wanted to import is we can actually import breedings. So let's see. I'm going to open up another spreadsheet, and we're going to say ear tag, and then we have to have where is it? The bulls ear tag. Then we need breeding method, and breeding method would be like natural service or artificial insemination or embryo transfer. And then we need a breeding date. We also, if you're doing natural service, you have to have a breeding end date. When you pull the bull out, keep making my columns bigger so we don't cover them up. Any comments? And if you did AI, you could actually add in who the technician is. Okay, so we can take our cow we've been using, 2K. We bred her to the 40/20 bull. Breeding method, you could say, let's say AI. And all you have to have is the date that you bred her. And then if you want to add the technician, you can add that in. If you turned a cleanup bull in on this cow afterwards, all you have to do is another line item. You cannot put the same, more than one breeding. It goes the same way with more than one weight. If you're importing weights and you're catching up, you're doing yearling or weaning, yearling, and a gain, or maybe 2 or 3 gains, you got to have a line for each weight. Same thing with the breeding here. So if we added R365 as a pasture exposure, and we turned them in on, say, 5/20, 22, and we turn around and pulled him on 7/20, 2022, that's natural service right there. So, and then you could go on down the list. You could add all of your AIs in, or you could add each one as you go. There again, you can also, this is to me more using it for if you were importing your AI, because if you're doing the bull, you can actually use bull turn in, as you all know. Now, the 2 things we have to fix on here first is our 2 date columns, and you can do them both at the same time. Just format them, the date, pick the correct format, year, month, day, and they're fixed. So then we need to save this one as breedings. Make sure you save it as a CSV, comma separated values. Save it. We can close it. Right back to the same place. We're going back to cattle, import from a spreadsheet, breedings, choose my file. And it's only on active animals. I don't have any others. Nothing's been sold out of here. So we can upload that file. And as you see, we're going to choose ear tag, It knows my bull, my breeding method, the date that we AI'd or the date that we turned the bull in, the end date, the day we took the bull out of the pasture, any comments you might have made, and then, of course, the technician. So we're going to continue to validate. Let's see, here's one of my errors, which is really good. And what happened is, and I know this cow should be 12-3. Sometimes when you open Excel, it will convert it to a date for some reason. It thinks it's December the 3rd instead of 12-3. So if you get this, you could come back and correct your file, go back in and open it up, go to that animal. You would need to reformat just that cell, or if you had several of them, to tell it it's a text field and correct that to 12-3 and then upload your new file. Or because it's only the one animal and I'm kind of in a hurry, I'll fix her later, I can skip that, ignore the warning, I guess, and go ahead and import my spreadsheet. So it's going to leave that one animal completely out. Okay, so it imported my animals. And if I go over here, 12-3 cow, which is the one I left out, she still got a breeding. So somewhere, one of the columns by AI was correct. My natural service breeding that should have been behind is the one that got messed up. So I still got some of my breeding on her. And then my 2K cow, I should have 2 breedings on her. Yes, I have both an AI and a natural service breeding. Okay, so that was easy enough to put in. We could do pregnancy checks. You can do weight gains. If anybody has any preference, I can do either or be glad to do them both. Do we have any preference? No?
No, nobody's mentioning any.
Okay. So I want to show you on weight gain then. So we're going to use ear tag, measure date. We're going to use, let's see here, weight and BCS, body condition score, are what I want to add. So just like before, 2K, the day we measured them, the weight, let's say 1,030, body condition score was a 7. We can get into 3K. And if it's the same date, I'll wait and just copy and paste it down. And so on and so on. And so it makes it really easy. We can take this up, copy it, paste it. And then of course we need to fix our column for our dates. Just like before, year, month, day. Save it as maybe just September weights. Be sure and save it as a CSV. Save. Same thing, go right back to import spreadsheet. And we're going to import what we call measurements. That's the same thing. A spreadsheet. Okay, so let's see which one I want to use. I want to use gain 1. I've got a couple. This one is the one I want to show. They're all active animals. They're mostly all cows, but I'll leave it as it is. So we're going to upload our spreadsheet. And there is a note right here telling you if you want to have your average daily gain and all that, it has to be referenced back to another weight. I'll show you how we fix that. So we did ear tag, caught up on measure date, weight, body condition score. But okay, I want my average daily gain back to the last weight that we did, but I forgot to add that in my spreadsheet. It's not a problem. Specify bulk fill fields. So we can add a field, and it is reference notes. I know that sounds funny. We should use reference weight, but it's actually reference notes. And then we want to choose last weight, and it will find, CattleMax will find the last weight on every animal. It does not all have to be on the same day, but it's going to find the last weight you put on every animal, and that's where average daily gain will be calculated. And if you look up in here and it says to use reference notes, and then you can choose which one. We also forgot to add a category, or not we, I did. I forgot to add a category. So I can come in and add a category for my weight and have the drop down. And I don't have what I want, so I'm going to call it gain. So we're going to add that in. It will actually create this gain on these weights. So now we want to continue the validation. And it tells me it's going to bulk fill reference notes, last weight, create a category of gain, and everything else matched up. So we'll import our spreadsheet and go to our cattle. Let's see, 985 was one of my animals. And I can look at my performance tab, and you can see there's my gain weight. I also referenced it back to yearling. Shows you how much they gain and the average daily gain. Animal didn't do too well, but you can do that. If you did weaning weights, you could actually add a contemporary group for them to get your ratios at weaning and yearling. It also added my body condition score. And if I'd have had hip height on there, it would have added that as well. Okay. Any questions on that?
We did have a good question come in, Jimmy, about adding multiple treatments at the same time.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. Same way we did our weights. I don't know if I have a treatment spreadsheet, but same tag. We would add treatment date. Let me think. We'll add medication. We can add a category for it. You could also add a, if you know the withdrawal, you could add that. But let's leave it simple, and I'll have to find you a file to go in. So if we use our same cow, 2K, treatment date was 10, 15, 20, 22. Medication was long range. It is a dewormer. Oh, you can also say applied by. So add that. If we gave her something else, you just back down to K, be the same date. Maybe you gave them Cattle Master Gold. Spread this out. This would be a vaccine. Jimmy, you could do T2K. Vaccine 8. You could either say that's a vaccine or a black leg. We'll stick to the same. You just have to have a row for every treatment that you give. Okay, so we also want to, I don't think that copy did it. Nope. Copy. Paste the date. And of course, we want to format it. Date. Save. And in the same way, save as treatments, CSV, save it. Now to actually import, let me see, I know that I have we want to add treatments, last one. Yeah, I didn't have a treatments file there, but I've got one over here. Give me just 1 second to find it. Got a lot of different spreadsheets. There it is. This has a ton of ton of them on there. And some of these animals have actually been sold. So we'll upload this file. All right, so we're still going to use ear tag to ear tag. So we have treatment date. You can add in booster date, withdrawal date, the category like we talked about, medication. Oh, you could do diagnosis, temperature, administered by, the dosage, route, location, lot number, serial number. I mean, there's all kinds you can add in there. And so we would continue. Same cow, you know, we'll just skip her again. Takes a little bit longer. I think there was like over 1,000 lines on there, 304 on this one. I'm sorry. So then we'll look at our 2K cow. And if we look under her health, there's her 4, 5 treatments that we've done. And that was all imported just now. And as you can see, some of them go all the way back to 2019, 2020, and 2022. Just put it on each line. I do want to show you that if you go to help.cattlemax.com, type in spreadsheet, and it shows you a little bit how it works. But all of these can be downloaded, and they are templates. It tells you what information goes in which line, what has to be on them, and what is extra on them. So this is a really good tool. Just download them. They're in Excel. So remember, once you use it, you must save it as a CSV, and it is just as a guideline. And then there's some other areas that you could actually create templates for, but these are areas that we must import for you. But everything up here you can do yourself. Okay. Got any other questions, Jacqueline?
We don't, Jimmy. We're all set right now.
Okay. Well, this is a really quick class that shows you just how the spreadsheet import feature works. If you have trouble with your spreadsheets, you're welcome to send them to us so that we can guide you through where the mistake is, help you to learn better how that works. So reach out to us, 800-641-2343. That's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can send us an email, howdy@cattlemax.com, or you could use the little chat feature in the software or on any of our websites. And we've all worked with spreadsheets, and so we'll be able to help you get your problem figured out really quick. And there's a lot of other areas in there that can be imported as well. So with no other questions, I appreciate everybody joining us and hope you have a great day. Thank you.